All right, guys. We had a little technical difficulty setting this thing up. Technical difficulty? That's a tough word to say. It's a little harder to say than I thought. We're about to roll into this. Alrighty. Let's get a little. We are setting up. All right, guys. So this is the Retro Gamers Hub podcast, issue number 1, hosted by Nintenja today, but soon to be Nintenja and Marquito. We're getting lots of cool guests in here. Super excited about it. I'm sure that we'll figure that out as we go. But right now, we're just gonna talk about some stuff that we love. So the Retro Gamers podcast and the Retro Gamers Hub, of course. We love all things retro, all things classic. We love some new stuff too, but we want to really take the past and really make it better. We want to put it in front of the new generation. That's the big thing. There's so much value kind of buried in the past because it's not advertised about and it's not talked about, and it's just not making the companies money anymore. They always want the newest, biggest thing, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? Being the newest and biggest thing does not mean you're the best thing. So we are all lovers of classic games. We're lovers of all things that were great about a bygone generation and trying to bring that into the future. So that's where we're at. So today I want to talk about something that's really awesome. And we got a joiner here. What's up? What's up? You're on the Retro Gamers Hub podcast, issue number 1. Our beta version 0.000000119. But we're going to get this thing rolling. And today I want to talk about something that's old but new. What's old is new here. And we're going to talk about Fallout. Fallout. So as we know, Fallout's an old game. We're talking about way back to the 90s, Interplay, this, that. They got the history on the PC, Fallout 1. That was some awesome stuff for the time. A lot went into making that stuff at the time. That was kind of revolutionary, the way they did with the clay, kind of like the claymation type of thing. And they had, awesome levels of violence in there, and they had awesome levels of storytelling. It's really great for the time. Really cool post-apocalyptic thing. That's all based off of Wasteland, as we know. We got Fallout 1, 2. They took a step back with Fallout Tactics. But then in 2008, we got the mother of all Fallouts, where we took this, we had this whole Call of Duty, this explosion of first-person shooter stuff going on, and everybody's so in love with the Call of Duty thing. Well, they took that, and they took Fallout, and they made this perfect mesh, I think, in my mind. Now, some people love the originals, Fallout 1 and 2. I can't knock them. I love that kind of like old school feel, those PC graphics where it's kind of realistic, but kind of not, kind of cartoony, kind of realistic. It's like, but it's still a step up from the Super NES from the 90s. It's still a step up from the Sega Genesis around that time. It's still like going into like a kind of a new gen type of thing. But Fallout 3 really, really blew the doors off of the Fallout franchise. It took it in a new direction, arguably the right direction if you look at it today. And we've got lots of mods. We've got this and that. Fallout 3, to me, is a masterpiece looking back at 2008. I remember that commercial, that amazing commercial where, bacon and eggs, and the guy's sitting there, and he's all happy and stuff, and he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to create the future, right? And all this cool stuff. And then all of a sudden the bombs go off, and it's like, bam, bam. And then they bring you into this world, and you're looking at this world where they're like singing happy show tunes from the 50s, but blowing away super mutants. I mean, how crazy is that? Everybody remembers that commercial, right? But then you got your awesome DLC. We get Fallout New Vegas. Some people are torn between the two. They think New Vegas is more of an RPG. Fallout 3 is more of a shooter. They kind of like the New Vegas more. Honestly, I always dug Fallout 4 more. I mean, Fallout 3 more. I felt like the graphics were better, honestly, than New Vegas. Even, similar assets. But I also felt like some of the things were a little bit more towards what I wanted to see. I felt like New Vegas was more like open and stretchy. And I felt like Fallout 3 had a lot more things to see and things to do. I felt like, they had see, going through Washington D.C. and being somebody that doesn't love the government, somebody that doesn't really love politics, was one of the greatest things ever. I'm like, damn, if only we can, live there. But it's kind of funny. But Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, cool. All the mods and this and that, and Fallout 4. We're working up to the history here with the Fallout TV series. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon. I know you probably heard about it, right? I literally went and got my free membership to Amazon Prime so I could check it out. This one I watched twice all the way through. and I'll say this, it's freaking pretty good. I like the fact that they took the money and put it behind it. We've got the theme, we've got the costumes, we've got the vaults, we've got the guns. Um, if you look at it from a perspective of like a super fan, like you're gonna be like, oh, why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? There's some things in there I don't want to spoil, but they kind of changed, the story of things a little bit. They kind of changed the expectations of things a little bit. But ultimately, we're talking about they weren't just trying to make the fans happy, which I feel like they kind of tried to do. I mean, they have that level of violence that's known for Fallout. They have that level of darkness in the wasteland. There's some things that happen that are kind of like stomach turning. Like, wow, I can't believe they had the kind of guts to pull this off. But also, um, you've got to kind of make it to where it's not just for Fallout fans. This is an Amazon show after all. They're putting $100 million behind this. They have to make sure that it's good for a lot of different types of people, right? They make sure that it's good for not just the few people viewing it, that the maybe just the Fallout fans that are going to play all the games no matter what, but they want to build a bigger audience. They want to build a franchise. So I understand that, but even with that, they still stuck to that level of gore we come to expect from Fallout. They still stuck to those types of themes of, being a dark, kind of comedic, kind of messed up place, messed up, wacky wasteland. Um, and I kind of saw that in it. I saw that in its blood. It had that engine behind it, that core Fallout kind of experience. I felt like I was watching a Fallout thing. I can't say that whenever I'm watching Halo. I can't. I can't say that I'm watching a Halo show. I don't feel like it has that spirit. I mean, you put the mask on, they've got the suits and the masks, but like, the helmet, but I mean, it's not Halo to me. This is some kind of other thing entirely. And this feels like Fallout. And of course, they made three characters. They've got the ghoul, played by amazing Walton Goggins. He's a beast of an actor. He was in The Shield, which is an incredible show. He was in Justified, another incredible show. He's done ballsy, just really gutsy performances in movies. He's just an incredible actor, and he's got that really strong leading character down packed. He's got that like kind of that alpha presence on the screen. Like, I've done this. I'm a great actor. I can bring that kind of veteran presence. Then you've got Lucy. Lucy's kind of like the vault dweller, and she's naive. She's pretty much perfect for it. She's naive, okie dokie. She's like fun and happy. And then you've got Maximus, this kind of dark, kind of lost in the world, um, looking for purpose, brotherhood recruit, and he's trying to work his way into being a squire so he can work his way up to being a knight. And ultimately, Maximus comes along as a character. I think all the characters' development really changed. Like, Lucy went from being this timid, really okie dokie, happy go lucky vault dweller to being like, wow, the wasteland's a really messed up place, and I might have to do some messed up things to survive it. And I'm kind of willing to do them without completely sacrificing my soul. Maximus went from being this kind of timid, like he got beat up by everybody, to like, hey, I'm willing to crush your head with this power armor. That's what it takes to like build up the brotherhood, but he's kind of torn between things. And then the ghoul, you think the entire time the ghoul is just some bad guy? Well, I'm not going to give it away because there's a lot of depth to this character, honestly, more than what they're showing, but I think they did a great job with it. You can't make everybody happy, especially Fallout fans ultimately, especially if you're trying to make general audiences happy and build other people outside of Fallout, outside of just Fallout fans that are in love with the lore or in love with the original games. But ultimately, I think they did a good enough job that we're going to see a season 2. And I'm really happy about that, honestly. I'd rather see a season 2 of this than another season of Halo. I choked through another season of Halo, and I'm thinking to myself, why? Why do I keep doing this to myself? Do I hate myself? Do I hate myself? Do they hate fans of Halo? So it's kind of, this is definitely better than that. Now, I will say one thing, not to jump around too much, but if you're a fan of games to TV, and we're finally seeing the day and age where Hollywood's run out of ideas and indie projects are taking over, but movies and have so much things just repeating themselves over and over and over again. We're getting to the point where TV is starting to dig into Hollywood. All these franchises that are just wide open, they're bringing them back, and I feel like they're trying to do them justice because I think they see the dollars. They see the dollars, right? Mario movie, huge, $1.5 billion, just blew the box office away. Disney, old school Disney levels of money before Disney got, I guess I would say Disney got too woke. Disney got a little too political. Disney got a little too wrapped up in trying to say something in a message instead of telling a story. I'm not political. I am not here to push any kind of agenda or message whatsoever. I don't care. I just want to be entertained when I watch my entertainment. I just want something that tells me a story I haven't seen before, does it in a way I haven't seen before. I just want something that whenever I'm off of work for the day, I can relax and not think too much and just enjoy my experience and enjoy the AAA production qualities that all that money, putting all that money behind a project gets you, and hiring those talented actors gets you. And I feel like Mario movie did that, and I feel like Sonic's done that, and it provided an entertaining thing. And I think, with the show Twisted Metal as well. If you haven't seen Twisted Metal on Peacock, get your free subscription and go at it. I mean, the show is incredible. It's really, really good. It's really good. I think that we're going to see an explosion of video game based movies and TV. I think it's great. I think we're entering into a golden age where cinema's gonna, I think this is the new Marvel. Marvel and DC are kind of dying down, getting kicked out. I think it's this superhero thing is going to be replaced with video game stuff, and I think we're going to see all these great franchises. And it's super exciting. It's super exciting. I think we're entering into a day where it's really being looked at as a valuable thing, these video game properties and these stories they have to tell, and they've just kind of sat there stagnating. The only thing we've ever really gotten before now, honestly, let's be completely real, we never really got much. We got these kind of crappy B movies like Dead or Alive and these crappy Tekken like live action and stuff. Like nobody watched that trash. Like the only things we really got that were really good was like Street Fighter Assassin's Fist or Mortal Kombat Legacy was really good. Season 1 and 2 were great. Like they were violent and they felt like the visceral Mortal Kombat experience. Like you're gonna get punched in the face and like a fatality and this and that. And they were done, in a really creative way. It felt futuristic and cool, like with all the characters. We never really gotten AAA Hollywood. AAA, like the big studios, Warner Brothers and all them, to jump in and put money behind these projects. It's always been like, we'll give $8 million for the Mortal Kombat films in the 90s. And let's just be real. I'm not going to say those movies are bad, but I'm not going to say they're good either. They're just not really. They're campy B-movie fare that had a big enough name to kind of get pitched to more audiences through more screens, but they weren't given the love and the quality they really deserve. I feel like there's so many gaming franchises, like Uncharted. I'm not going to say that they completely failed, but I won't say that they didn't put money behind it. That's for sure. They did put money behind it. They spent their money on the budget. They did get big actors for it. And it has some entertaining moments. Let's be real. It could have been planned out better, but it has some entertaining moments. But I think we're going to get a lot more of Twisted Metal and Fallout in the Last of Us style series, where they're going to be putting big budgets and big directors behind it. They're going to want to direct this stuff. They're going to want to have their names attached to these things, because ultimately every actor and every director, there's two things that they want to do. A, they want to get paid. They want to get paid. A lot of times they're getting money on the back ends. They want their movie to do well. They want their franchise to do well. They want their movies to make $1 billion. That's how they can get more roles. B, they want to be a part of a story that's originally unique. And there's nothing more original and unique than all the stories in video games. What if we made Chrono Trigger into a freaking movie or a series? It's just a live action or like a really great animated series. Look how amazing that could be, right? We can expand upon the story, There's so many ideas that we have. I mean, now we're seeing like Castlevania and on Netflix, and I think we're entering into a golden day and age. The only things we really used to got was like things that were like kind of based on video games, like the movie with Charlton Copley. What was that movie? It was like all in first person. It was so cool. The name escapes me, but it was so neat. The whole movie was like a first person shooter, and he ran through the thing, and he was like doing like video game stupid stuff. But it wasn't based on a video game franchise. It was just based on that concept of a video game like movie. You know what I mean? Like the Doom movie we had back in the day wasn't so much based on as much as like the concept of a game, right? They had that one moment where it was in the first person shooter. I think we're gonna see a lot more amazing experiences with video games crossing over into TV and movies. And I think also with that, we're going to see things like Red Dead. I think the Rockstar games is going to be able to really progress into there, which is kind of exciting, because Rockstar can tell some stories when they're not just milking Grand Theft Auto to death. Because I remember back in, the early 2000s, well, let's segue into Rockstar here. In the early 2000s, in the late 90s, they had so much. I mean, you think about the PS2. We had Max Payne 1 and 2, State of Emergency, which kind of a fun, like, it had those like Final Fantasy VII looking graphics, like those old chibi looking graphics, but you ran around and caused chaos. It was kind of them working on the ultimate destruction type of city thing. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Liberty City stories, Vice City stories. Those are all individual stories, right? They told these stories. The Warriors, which was an expansion upon the Warriors movie where they told a story in there. They had so much story, Manhunt 1 and 2, like we say, they had so much story that they were telling at that time. And it wasn't just about like, okay, well, Grand Theft Auto's everything. We'll tell that one story and then milk it for 15 years with you know, online DLC and microtransactions. It was actually about, telling individual stories and experiences. And I think that they'll probably branch off something in the cinema, more or less. And I would love to see Red Dead. I heard that there's a BioShock movie in production. I heard that they're working on Gears of War in production, in case you're interested. I've heard some other things. I've heard of Metal Gear Solid was tossed around. Stuff like, I don't know how you can do a Metal Gear Solid movie, but there's definitely enough story to do it with. That's for darn sure. But you've got so many ideas out there in video games that I think can become amazing movies if they really wanted to. And I think that we're going to that golden age. So it's super, super exciting. But that's kind of where we're at with movies right now. There's one movie right now that everybody needs to check out. I think it's super cool. Monkey Man. Monkey Man, Monkey Man, Monkey Man. If you haven't seen it, it's gonna go to streaming soon. You can torrent it. I didn't say that. I don't promote piracy, huh? But I mean, you can get it watch it however you can. Super good. It's kind of like a John Wick feel. It's by Dev Patel. He was awesome in Slumdog Millionaire. He's been awesome in a lot of movies, really, except for the Avatar, debacle. But Dev Patel's a beast. It's great. It's kind of like a John Wick. If you like John Wick, you're gonna like Monkey Man. Like John Wick Taken type of stuff. It's pretty dark. It's pretty violent. I think you'll like it. And there's another movie with Bill Skarsgård. One of the Skarsgård family. There's like 26 of them. I don't know how they have so many, but it's kind of incredible. He is in a movie called Boy Kills World. That looks pretty freaking awesome. The reviews have been kind of mixed, like, 70, 75% Rotten Tomatoes type stuff. It doesn't matter. You can't make all the critics happy. This movie just looks super exciting. I remember it came out like a year and a half ago at some festival. We've been waiting forever for it to come out. So finally, Boy Kills World is out. Check that out. These are violent. So if you're younger, get permission from your parents, this and that. This is not an adult podcast per se. We're not going to be cussing our heads off here and talking about really, really bad stuff. But we will talk about some things sometimes that are a little bit, a bit more on the adult side because we're mature and we're adults and this and that. I'm an old man. But yeah, just check those out. They're pretty freaking awesome. I think you'll like them, especially if you like anything that's got like ultra violence. Yeah, it's got some of that in there for sure. But I want to branch off a segue into something else. We are big in this community on ROM hacks. We are big on ROMs, ROM hacks, retro gaming. If they sold them at the store, if they sold them, where we could buy them and own them forever, there wouldn't be anything like people sailing the high seas of piracy. There would not. It would not exist. But they don't allow it like that. We're living in a world where you will own nothing and be happy, where they want us to pay a $20 a year to lease the games. I want to own my retro games, and I don't want to go pay $600 for a cartridge. Let's just be real. None of us do. And it's not like you can get the ROM hacks on a cartridge anyways, unless you're paying some ridiculous reseller, and that's not even going to the company. So let's just be completely real here. And we'll just be adult about this. We love ROM hacks here. ROM hacks are not endorsed by companies really at all. They don't love them. Nintendo doesn't love ROM hacks. PlayStation doesn't love ROM hacks. Nobody really loves the ROM hacks except for the community, but we do it out of the love of our heart. We love the games. We love the community. We love retro. So what do? We try to improve the old games. Because the developers are never going to go back and add in new features like MSU1 CD quality audio. They're never going to go back and add in save states and this and that. Unless they're releasing it for $30 for two of them in some CD or Steam download that's going to get taken out of production, and within 2 years you won't even be able to buy it again, a la the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, which is going out of production right now. We're the last bastion of hope for this community. Ultimately, retro enthusiasts, ROM hackers, lovers of this community, we're the last hope of it. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones that are keeping these games alive. We're the ones that are adding value to them. All we're going to get from Nintendo is a straight up re-release in 480i of whatever. I mean, they can't even give American audiences Mother 3, the Game Boy Advance masterpiece. They can't even give us the sequel to Earthbound. As much as we love Earthbound, they won't even give North American English speakers, or English speakers in general, an official Earthbound 3, Mother 3 translation. But they'll give the game to Japan. So it's just crazy. We've had this translation by Tomato and Nier for how long? How long? And then boom. So if you want to play Mother 3, stop waiting for Nintendo. Go play Mother 3. Go play Mother 3. Go enjoy it. Somebody worked their tail off to bring that to you. Some legend out there worked their tail off, Tomato, which he supposedly died. Just putting that out there. I believe he supposedly died. So rest in peace. He did a lot of great translation projects. There's a lot of great translators out there. Stop waiting for your corporation that doesn't care about the old games. They just want to do the new games on Unreal Engine 5 for the masses. Go back and find what you want. Type in ROM hacks, romhacking.net, wherever it may be, wherever you get your hacks, and check it out and see what you can find. I mean, there's so many great hacks making so many old games better, fixing bugs, balancing difficulties, this and that. Me personally, I'm a big fan of trying to make ultimate editions. That's what I love to do. I love to take older games and I like to take all the different cool stuff that's been created for them in the community, and I like to try to put them together, and I like to add new features to it and get it all to work. I like to figure it out. It's like a puzzle, right? Putting everything together, and I want everything to work smooth and run smooth. And I say, dang, this broke this, that broke this, and you go in and you figure it out. That's what you do. You're a hacker. You figure it out and you make it run. You make it work. And that's what you do. And sometimes you get help from the community. Sometimes you just stay up all night until you figure it out. But it's a passion and love. I mean, we're not getting paid for it, that's for sure. I went to my job, pulled up my pants, went in there like everybody else, addressed the public, did my job, and here I am talking about what I love. So anybody that's listening, I appreciate you. You are the best thing about this community, and I love that. And I hope that you guys team up with us, and I hope you guys tune in every week when we build this big community. I have 370 members already. I can see us going in the thousands, but it doesn't matter either way. As long as you're playing the games you love, and as long as you're doing what you love, and you're, doing your part to preserve the past, the best part of this history we have. The best part of this history we have has been the last like 30, 40 years. If you think about it, before then, what did we have? We didn't really have anything. We had everything on VHS tape, and they were wiping over it for commercial content. And then we were finally able to, get a cartridge, right? Get a CD, get a cartridge, and we were able to put data on it. So we've only really had great, like, amazing content in this last, 100 years or so. But really the last, 30, 40 years has been with the video game era. You're talking about pretty much from, where video games went from Atari, where they were barely playable, this little shape on the screen with bing, 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 kind of hard to play, to actual being able to tell a story and having space to do things. On the NES, I would say that's really where it took off. The NES and the Commodore and these PCs, kind of we started to actually be able to make games that tell a story, and we can use our imagination to fill in the gaps. So, if you love those things, then surely, man, play what you love, you know what I'm saying? And then that's what this community is about. We're about, celebrating those things and bringing them to the public, and bringing them back before people. And I mean, it's cool to be retro, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, it's cool to be retro. I mean, all these kids playing soulless stuff like Fortnite, and that's cool. If they love it, they love it. I'm not judging. Anybody can love whatever they can love. Everybody's different. But ultimately, what story are they getting? What are they learning from it? Nothing. It's just the baby needs to be entertained. So turn on the Bluey and Baby Shark do. I mean, what are you getting from it? Nothing. Intellectuals, people that want more from their experience, more or less they're having to go to the past, or they're having to go indie today. You're just not catching that from AAA stuff. It's just a bunch of, I mean, you saw what Suicide Squad was the other day. It's basically a slot machine. I mean, look at all the stuff on the screen, trying to keep your attention. It's just absolutely endless gaggle of nothing on the screen. It's absolutely insane. And I think people are going to want to go back to the past. They're going to want to see, the golden age was the 90s, the early 2000s. To be real, the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. PS2, go back to the PS2 library. There's 2,000 games on it. Great games, RPGs. There's over 100 great RPGs. What about PS1? Tons of great RPGs, tons of great racing games, tons of great fighting games, tons of great classic experiences that you can't buy anymore. And if you did buy, you're going to pay $200 for the game. And it doesn't even support Sony. It doesn't even support Insomniac or anybody. It just supports whoever's scalping the game. So, Retro Gamers Hub is about ultimately, a bunch of people who love retro stuff coming together to talk about it, share it, learn about it, upkeep it. So that's where you're at, and we appreciate you being here. I want to talk about, we talked about earlier about Fallout a little bit. I want to segue back to it real quick, because we went into the TV series, which is excellent, and you should watch. But Fallout London is freaking killer. It's going to be a killer game. So as we know, Fallout 4 recently released its new update, its next-gen update, in which case they broke a bunch of mods. I think that Fallout does this crap on purpose. I'm going to be completely real. Strangely enough, I think they're doing it on I think they're breaking stuff on purpose because they can't go back and say we don't want modders to work on our games anymore. We want everybody to basically suffer until we release Fallout 5 or suffer so much with the lack of Fallout content they get bored and they go buy Fallout 76 and play online and go to the Atom shop, the Atomic shop, and buy a bunch of crap. I feel like it might be possible, maybe, and I could be wrong. I don't know everything. I'm just a guy that loves games and hacks games, but maybe they're trying to break mods because they know a lot of old mod authors are going to go back and fix it. If they can break a bunch of mods, then they can force you to play their new stuff, right? And they can kind of force you in towards where you're playing 76. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of a conspiracy there, but I could be a bit of a conspiracy theorist. But it feels weird that they release these breaking type of things. But that's what's happening. So Fallout London was going to be this amazing expansion, basically not endorsed by Bethesda, but essentially they had their blessing to a degree, and they're like, we're not going to prohibit it. We love when people make ROM hacks for our games, but they pretty much just broke it. So we're going to have to wait on Fallout London, which is going to release like now for like until they're ready. Heck, it could be for the rest of the year. We don't know. But Fallout London will be a full expansion of Fallout. It will have London. It will have all these different groups. It has this like kind of like conspiratorial, like Freemasonic thing, like group of guys, and it has all that stuff. And the voice actors are going to be there. And I think it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. I think we've got we never really had an out of country experience in Fallout outside of the Fallout 3 DLC with China. Operation Anchorage. I think we're going to have a pretty amazing experience coming up. Of course, we've also got another Fallout DLC that should be coming up sometime. And if you don't know about it, put it on your calendar. Fallout freaking Miami. Looks incredible. Miami, a crazy place. I think that's going to be awesome. Going to go to the beach and shoot ghouls and super mutants. I think it's going to be pretty BA. Alligator mutants. So that's making huge progress. It's got about 130,000 members on their YouTube. Check out Fallout Miami. Check out Fallout London. If you like Fallout, mark your calendars. That's going to be a work of love that I think is going to pretty much beat anything AAA coming out. In my mind, it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. So I'm super excited about both of those. We have something called Fallout Cascadia. We don't know where the hell it's at. Where is it? Who knows? I saw the developers. They were still developing. I talked to them a little bit. But ultimately, when that's coming out, not sure. But I know they're still working on it. They're just not going for publicity. They're just kind of going behind the scenes. That's cool. I love when people just get to work and do the work. I know some of the ROM hacks I've done, I didn't really publicize it. I just worked on it. I just worked and I figured it out. And I stood on the shoulders of giants for some stuff, but I just worked on it. And I know a lot of ROM hackers do that. I know a guy right now in our own ROM Hackers Club, he Retro Gamers Hub. He's got a bunch of hacks that he's working on, and I told him that I'd play test them. So one thing you could do for this community, if you really love this community, find a hacker and adopt them. Adopt them. Find a hacker and ask him, hey, can I play test something for you? And play test it. Recently, I play tested, and I was very grateful for the opportunity to play test Chrono Trigger Plus version 3.0 for the Great Ben. I was playing as Human Glenn, where Frog can become Human Glenn, breaking the curse, months before anybody else. And I was so ecstatic. I put almost 150 hours, like 4 playthroughs, went through like 10 or 15 different endings. I just, long nights when I was getting off work and I was playing it. And it was so great. And I got to test it. And as a result, this isn't always the case, but typically you'll get credited. He put me in the movie, in the game. I'm not going to say where. There's a little movie you can watch. And he put my name in it. And I was like, gosh, man. Like, I feel like I'm a part of history now. Like, this is, to me, is like the ultimate, the Chrono Trigger. Like, the definitive Chrono Trigger. And I got my Nintendo name in there. And I was like, gosh, man. Like, all the hard work really paid off. Not only that, but finding all the bugs, and we found a lot of bugs. And Great Ben is the Great Ben is an amazing hacker. He was able to squash them so fast and work so hard on it, but he can't do that on his own. He's got to have people to find that. I mean, does he want to play through the game 16 times in 16 different ways to figure it out? No, of course not. He's sitting there, going through trying to fix stuff. So ultimately, me and a guy, Andrew, we went through it and we found it out. I thought it was crazy that for a game that a ROM hack that's got 32,000 downloads, only 2 people were playtesting it. But ultimately, we got it done. It got released version 3.0. 3.1 is the newest update of that. You need to go play it. It's incredible. It's an incredible ROM hack. I know it came out about a month ago, but this is amazing. Chrono Trigger Plus is worth your play with the MSG1 CD quality audio. If you need any help with that, give me a message. I will help you out with that for sure. That's what we do in this community. We support each other, and it's just a great ROM hack. And I'm really proud that I was able to become a part of that team. I was really proud that he let me into the team. He trusted me to see his project before, and I was able to somehow keep my mouth shut and not say anything about it, and not spill it, Tom Holland style, not spill the beans about it. And it was just really awesome, really awesome. But we've got some great ROM hacks right now, and I want to cover a couple of them. And let's see what we're looking at, guys. Right now. Oh, and I want to say something. There's a Super Mario 64 decades later. Check it out. There's a lot of great Mario 64 ROM hacks. As we know, or don't know, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Mario 64 has an amazing PC port with this amazing thing called Render 96 that they're doing. I don't know the full details of everything, outside of the fact that it was decompiled and ported to PC, which is apparently a huge work in itself. So it's natively running on PC. You can find all this on YouTube. Look up Unreal 64 on YouTube. He does a lot of videos about it. You can find packages to download this stuff. But ultimately, we were able to take it, port it to PC, and then we were able to basically add in all these new textures. It looks like freaking Super Mario 64 4K. Like, it looks like what Nintendo should have done when they released the 3D All-Stars, like trash package that they released. Which I bought 3 of them thinking they would go up in value, and they're still like around like 60, 70. Boo-hoo. But we should have gotten a better release than what they gave us. And luckily, we've got that Render 96 Mario 64 PC port, and you can play it, and it's just incredible. But we've got all these different ROM hacks for Mario 64, and it's kind of becoming like Super Mario World, just a ton of ROM hacks. And if you're a fan of Mario 64, you definitely want to get on Mario 64 ROM hacking or modding, because I mean, there's so much. There's like Super Mario 64 Star Road. It's incredible. I think that's by Kazi Manuar. He's this amazing Mario 64 ROM hacker. There's also like Mario 64 Last Impact. I think that's by him too. Is it? Are they both by him? I can't remember the exact author, but I got a video on my YouTube channel about it. But there's just all these incredible Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. So ultimately, yeah, Mario 64 is getting well represented by the ROM hacking community, even though Nintendo kind of act like it doesn't exist anymore because they're not making money off of it anymore. And I'm sure the next Mario they give us will not even have half the moveset Mario 64 have. We went from Mario 64, of course, where you can do anything. You could jump, kick, fly through the air, jump off a wall, side flip, you name it. Mario 64 has a full arsenal of moves you can do to shooting water out of a nozzle. Yep, shooting water out of a freaking nozzle. And then we went from there to Mario Galaxy, where he flies from warp point to warp point and jumps. And then we went from there to Mario Galaxy, where Mario Odyssey, where Mario throws a hat and bounces off of it. And I kept thinking to myself, have we taken a step back? Have we literally taken a step back from 1997 to where, like, now Mario has less of a moveset? Like, it's cool. The graphics look good and all. It looks pretty, but I want to see that moveset, that incredible moveset that interacts so well with these obstacle course, like these ninja course levels, with amazing 4K graphics. And Nintendo's probably never going to give it to us. Let's be real. We're going to get it for the Switch 3, because we're not even at the Switch 2 yet. But what is it going to be? A Switch 3 exclusive Mario 64 4K or Mario 64 HD? I just don't see it. And I'm not really in the waiting game. I'm going to wait for Nintendo to do something. If you love something, get out there, ROM hack it yourself, mod it yourself, find a hacker, support him in some way, and let's get these projects rolling. Because heck, we can't wait for Nintendo to do it. We got to do what Nintendo don't. Another thing is, right now, Donkey Kong Country the Trilogy. I wanna give my kind of like my game of the week here. Somebody took the Donkey Kong Country Trilogy and kind of like remade it for PC. It's on version 2.1. It's definitive edition, and it's pretty incredible. I played a couple of levels on it, and I'm like, holy crap, somebody made this? Yeah, somebody did. Fans are doing really amazing things with games, and we'll probably have to put up like a PC fan game link here for you guys, something like that. But that's something we'll definitely want to cover. In other ROM hacking news, if you haven't seen it yet, and it's been out for a while now, but no big deal, it doesn't matter. Wario Land on Game Boy was put into color, and it's amazing color conversion. It looks beautiful. I believe it's on version 1.2 right now, but you should check that out on romhacking.net. it is there. We're probably going to have it on the site too, in case you want to look here. But yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. And it was put into full color. I'm not talking about the Game Boy Enhanced one. I'm talking about the full color one. If you are a fan of classic platformers, then you probably know by now that the Game Boy's got a lot of them, and they're not that playable anymore. They're slow, the sound's bad, this and that. The graphics suck, this and that. The biggest things that come from the Game Boy was obviously A Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Metroid 2, which was colorized, and a couple other games like Fishing King and all that stuff, but Harvest Moon. But this one is put into full color, and it is a work of beauty. You're definitely going to want to check that out. It's got improvements made to it and stuff like that too. Pretty awesome. They did the same thing, with 6 golden coins. Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and Super Mario Land put in color. Those are both 2 amazing projects. They also did the same thing with Kirby's Dream Land, now that I think about it. Kirby's Dream Land DX. So if you want to play something that's really awesome, find an old game that's obsolete, that's been put in color. It's a whole new experience. Plus, on an emulator, you've got save states, you got rewind. You can just load it up on anything. Android, iPhone now has emulation. Let's talk about that. iPhone's finally allowed emulation. Wowzers. You're way behind. It's okay. We're not mad at you. But now if you have an Apple phone, which I'm imagining most people do, you can emulate stuff without rooting your phone. I guess that's really cool. So super excited about that for some people. I don't do iPhone. I do Android. I like be able to do what I want with something without being told what to do, even though Android kind of tries to do that now. But that's what we do. We work around stuff. We are the hacking community, after all, I should say. But yeah, lots of good ROM hacks right now out. Lots of stuff going on. There was a gameplay hack for the original Fantasia game on the Genesis. Genesis had a ton of amazing Disney games. Oh my God. There was like Disney golden age for Genesis games. And it was kind of cool because at that time in the 90s, whenever like the movies coming out like a Lion King, Aladdin, right? These kind of incredible animated pictures that everybody really loves, right? The golden age of Disney, kind of like the second golden age. Because the original golden age was back in like the 1940s and 1960s when they had like Bambi and all that stuff. But the new golden age was the 90s. And we had a lot of games that looked like the movies, like all these crazy ones. And, you had the Magical Quest games, and you had the Donald Duck game and all that stuff. And you had the Aladdin game and the Lion King game. And they look kind of just like the movies. It's kind of crazy because the technology was kind of catching up with the animated movies at that time. Now, of course, we jumped into like digital age with Pixar, like late 90s. And then, it took a little bit of time to catch up with like the GameCube and PS2 and stuff like that. But ultimately, they were actually mimicking the games very well. And they have so many of those. So you're going to find lots of those in Retro's Gamers Hub. There's lots of Disney fans that are going to be coming through. I'm certain of it. In this Discord channel, you're going to find a lot of amazing people that love amazing things. So come and check us out. Subscribe, to the channel. We got a YouTube channel. This is going to go live on this podcast. This is the first one of many. We're going to be doing this. Well, maybe we do it every other week. Maybe we do it every week. It depends, but we're going to announce it. We're going to figure out these details. But I appreciate you guys listening to me, suffering through 38 minutes of me talking without even a breath. And I'm happy. Hopefully I entertained you a little bit. Hopefully I maybe showed you or taught you something that you didn't know about gaming, or what's current events and this and that. And we hope to see you guys in the server. If you need anything, let me know, and let one of our mods know. We're there to help you. We're there to build up this little community. I think it's going to grow really fast, and I'm really excited about that. So I was happy to make this first podcast. You can listen to this later if you want on the YouTube channel. We're going to probably get it uploaded like tomorrow. So guys, we appreciate you coming and checking us out. Don't be a stranger. I'll be checking in every time I get a chance into the Discord. You can also go to my YouTube. It's my Nintenja YouTube channel. You can find it in my profile. You can check out my ROM hacking list of projects right now. You can take a look and see what I've done. You can check out Conduwanu straight from the Discord server. You can check out Brutapode. He makes amazing MSU1 hacks. We got him up in the server. We got all these legends coming to the server, and I'm going to try to get more and more of these great people in there. We're just trying to get these great experiences. And in this podcast, we're going to have Googie. He's going to be coming on in a couple weeks. He's awesome. He makes all these amazing ROM hacks, and he also does these amazing cartoons and drawings. He's just a super talented, super creative dude who's been in the ROM hacking community way before me. I'm like 2 or 3 years in, officially like coming out with my Nintendo stuff, but ultimately I was in it way before then. I just was kind of like behind the scenes looking at stuff, like working on stuff. But I mean, that guy's a legend. He's got like 61 hacks on ROMhacking.net. I'm pretty sure he's got way more than that. He's got his own server too. You can check out. You can find links inside of our Discord as well. We're going to support this community. We're going to support each other. So if y'all need anything, just holler at me. Let me know. Let one of our Discord mods know. I can see this thing going in the thousands of members. And that would be super exciting, you know, we have more people to talk to, more people to share stuff with, more people to learn with. Hell, we can have gaming nights, whatever, you know, whatever. It's all good. We're all cool, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that we're inviting in is cool peeps. So thank you guys for watching. And tune in soon. And check out our channel. Y'all check in, and we'll check in, and we'll all become fast friends, I'm sure. Thank y'all for watching the Retro Gamers Hub podcast. This week, version 1. I'm going to call it 1.0 because I think we did okay. I'm going to go from 0.00019 to 1.0. And we'll see you guys either in the next week or the next week. And we'll have Marquito on. We should have more people popping in the next one. All right, guys. Y'all be safe. Have a good night.